So the jobs market here in the United States is changing, and I think everyone can agree this has been going on for quite some time. But what we are starting to see are some cracks. We're starting to see where Americans are making these changes, which is actually a very good thing, because people that change their jobs are actually making more money than those that are staying in the same position. I'll explain more on this in just a moment. But what is very frightening right now is we are seeing some numbers, levels that we have not seen in more than 2 years. This is a problem. And again, I'm going to explain all this in just a moment. But if you are currently wondering if your job's still going to be there in the next several years or even in the next several months, this is a video that you need to watch. So I'll break everything down in just a moment. But first, all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right to the report that came out just this morning. Look at this. It says private sector hiring rose by just 37,000 in May, the lowest in more than 2 years, according to ADP. Now, we need to read some of the numbers. The numbers are very important. Look at this. It says payrolls increased just 37,000 for the month, below the downwardly revised 60,000 in April in the Dow Jones forecast of 110. That is much, much lower. It was the lowest monthly total from the ADP count since March of 2023. Everyone's saying that the jobs are booming. Just the other day, I mentioned how there are more available jobs today than there were several months ago. But yet, how come no one's hiring? That's the big question. We are getting contradicting reports, and that's where the American people are furious and frustrated, to say the least. Let's keep reading this. It says right here, the report comes 2 days before the more closely watched non-farm payrolls count from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is expected to show a gain of 125,000 and an unemployment rate steady at 4.2%. Now, do we get an unemployment rate of 4.2%? We're going to find out in just a couple of days. But look at this, okay? This is where I think it's interesting. It says right here, losses in manufacturing. Goods producing industries lost a net 2,000 positions for the month, with natural resources and mining off 5,000, manufacturing down 3,000, offset by a gain of 6,000 in construction. Here's what's interesting about the construction part. What we're seeing is there's more people moving towards construction because people are trying to build homes. They're trying to build a home because that could be a cheaper route than going and buying an existing home. However, homes are still very expensive. Now, I want to keep reading this, but the reason why we're seeing a gain of contractors is because people are trying to finish those homes, or even many general contractors or builders are trying to finish their subdivisions and their buildings as fast as possible. Even though they know they're likely losing money right now, they have to finish those as quick as possible to get those to sell, or else those companies could go under. Okay, if they have to hold on to these depreciating homes, it's not going to be good. It says on the services side, leisure and hospitality, 38,000, financial activities, 20,000, provided some signs of strength. However, declines of 17,000 in professional and business services, 13,000 in education and health services, and 4,000 in trade, transportation, and utilities weighed on the total. Okay. Now, I want to show you one other number here. Okay. This is an important one. It says regarding wages, annual pay grew at a 4.5% rate for those remaining in their positions. Not bad. 7% for job changers. if you switched your job from one place to another, then you would have made 7%. Okay? Was that 2.5% more than people that stayed in their position? That's very important. But I want to show you this. So what President Trump said today. President Trump says it's too late. Powell must lower interest rates after weak ADP jobs report. Now, we know President Trump has been trying to push the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell to make a change. Hasn't done it. Let me read this to you. This is what President Trump wrote on Truth Social. ADP numbers out. Too late. Powell must now lower the rate. Says he is unbelievable. The president said of the central bank chairman who has frequently pressured to shave borrowing rates in hopes of spurring economic growth. Trump says Europe has lowered 9 times. The United States is staying where we're at. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell does not have any interest in lowering rates just yet. He wants to wait and see how things play out. Okay. Well, here's a little sign of what could happen. President Trump said just this morning that Xi Jinping is extremely hard to make a deal with. So China's president is very tough to make a deal with. That's what he said. Okay? But here's what you need to keep in mind. We knew it was going to be difficult. The United States has not got a signed agreement from any country regarding tariffs. And yet, we were being told that President Trump and Xi Jinping were going to have some type of agreement at 30% tariff. I don't know if I can believe that just yet. It's great if it happens, but again, how are the leaders of two of the largest countries in the world, the greatest countries in the world, how are they going to come to an agreement when the United States can't come to agreement with other countries? I don't know. China is very powerful. So is China coming out and saying that, yeah, we'll agree to 30%? Probably not. That's what they agreed on initially, but China really wants to go down to 0. But we'll see. But as all this stuff happens, here's something else you need to be well aware of. It says universal basic income as a new social contract for the age of AI. Now, why am I showing you this? I'm showing you this because we aren't seeing hiring because more businesses are using AI. We knew that was coming, and it's happening right now. But as we move away from people working towards AI, more and more counties, more and more cities and states are potentially going to have to roll out universal basic income programs, just like California has done, New York has done, Colorado has done. We've seen it here in Washington State, and we've seen it in Illinois as well. So we'll see what happens moving forward, but what I can tell you right now is there's a lot of question marks on the U.S. economy. But as we get through the next several months, we're going to have some of these answers for these questions. So I promise I'll bring you all the latest news and updates as soon as we get it, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.